In this module, our primary goal is for you to understand the concept of international human rights. In the box below, or on a piece of paper, please write a short description of how you would define human rights. Now that you have thought a little bit about what human rights might be, consider the commentary of these respected academics and practitioners. What do they have to say about human rights? Take note of anything that parallels what you wrote down and anything that surprises you. The ability of international human rights law to be used either as a sort of actual tool of Western imperialism towards the rest of the world, or something that can be perceived as a tool of Western imperialism. One of the tasks of human rights advocates is to make use of the framework of human rights, but in a way that avoids the perception or the actual practice of doing things to other parts of the world, rather than engaging in partnerships. The vision that society holds of human rights activists depends on a series of factors. Among these, one must consider the historical context in which the defense of human rights develops, and in particular, the extent to which human rights activists are credited with or held responsible for particular desirable or undesirable outcomes. The historicity of the struggle for human rights in a given society will have significant import in the determination of the common view of human rights themselves, as well as those who defend them. The human rights situation in Syria is extremely grave and deteriorating. The death toll continues to rise. Regime security forces continue to engage in house-to-house raids, mass arrests, and the torture of prisoners. We have heard multiple accounts from human rights groups of the Assad regime's security forces interrogating and abusing detainees in large facilities such as stadiums and factories. There are also credible reports of detainees being tortured to death and of bodies returned to families bearing signs of torture. Well, I don't believe you can have justice that isn't fair. It's not justice. I think justice includes inevitably, really at the core, that the procedure is a fair and just one. Now consider this short list of some of the rights guaranteed in international law. Do any of them surprise you? How did the views expressed in the commentary align with or vary from your initial conception of human rights? What concepts were central? Were there any underlying themes? You may have noticed that there are many approaches to human rights. Moreover, how human rights are understood often depends on the framework in which rights are constructed and what type of rights is prioritized. Next, we will learn more about the history of human rights and a little bit about how the current international human rights infrastructure took form. Keep in mind your own conception of human rights in relation to that framework.
Created using Powtoon.